And here we are again, live for another show. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Everything looks fine, cool. And here we are live once again for another show. A really big show, as someone was saying in the past. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. This is the Shortwave radio show. We are here every Friday, and two things that we'll announce concerning the shows. And of course, welcome aboard. We are Friday, September 1st. Incredible. Friday. We are September. We are Friday, but we are September. And I mean, that is crazy. Just crazy. I don't know about you, but I haven't kind of seen summer here for some reason. And hey, September, and I've been only once to Perry Island. I need to go back in the next few weeks when it's a little warm. Hey everybody, we are of course live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles, and of course we will. Thanks for reminding me, by the way. I was not on IRC as well. Here I am. I'm here. I'm getting there. Sorry guys, on IRC. I tend to forget, and I really need not to forget. Some people are there. So I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. I'm going to be here in a few seconds. And just entering the password. And here we are on IRC. Hello on IRC. Nice to have you here. Hello there. And Grandly. Hello there on the IRC chat. And it says start working on the Christmas show. Well, we're gonna start working on an Halloween show. What about it? You know, let's start working with an Halloween show, and then we'll go to the Christmas show. Michael Bott, nice to have you here. SG2 East Nebraska, nice to have you here. And thanks Bobby Burgess for letting me know on the IRC. I completely forgot. And thanks for your donation, by the way. And thanks for donation, everybody, on the Patreon account. Thank you very much. And it's really, really very welcome and helps me a lot. I tell you guys, it really, really helps me in these moments of a little bit of difficulty with AdSense and everything. It's really cool. So, hey, everybody, we're beautiful but very cool Montreal today. It's like 65 Fahrenheit, something like that. And it's crazy because we should be around 75. You know, it's like 17 degrees, I think, right now. This is cold compared to what usually we should have as a temperature at this time of year. But you know, it feels like fall today rather than summer. But we surely have, you know, some beautiful days left. Usually September isn't too bad, so we're going to see. And the last few years, September has actually been very warm, almost a summer month now. I guess are some changes. Hello everybody. So in the regular chat here on the YouTube channel, Dan805, hello there from North Carolina. In a tornado watch, be careful. Very, very, very dangerous situations. Mr. Frank 632, hello there from Wales. Jay Watterson 69, hey. Syrian Willow, hello there. David Arden, how are you? PA1SBM Alex, nice to have you on board. WA9204 SWL Dave in Illinois, nice to welcome aboard. Of course, Bobby Burgess, thank you for the donation. Jerry, welcome aboard, thank you very much. William Helms from Florida, nice to have you here. Richard Cooks receiving S06S in on 6774 kilohertz, which is number station. Tom A, good evening from Southwest UK. He's listening on 40 meters. I'm on. There was two amateur radio operators for the last hour in the US who were talking. I was hearing both conversation. It was kind of interesting. They were talking about radio 18135, but now they've seen pretty much gone. PLF Radio in France. Nice to be here. Nice to have you on board. Bonjour, bienvenue. Dan Heavens, nice to have you here. What else do we have? What else do we have? Mr. Valtz, hello there. Sean Fay, nice to have you here. Anybody I've missed, please say hello. Cholakov, nice to have you here. Luis Arevalo, nice to have you here in Los Angeles. Over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow, that's hot. That's too hot for me, I can tell you that. Jay Watterson says, shout out to Paul the Cat. It's just so funny because I put a big blanket to block as much light from the window so that it doesn't reflect on the TV here. And he immediately looked at it and said, hey, this looks like a fun place to go. So he's been like going from chair to chair underneath the the blanket. He seems to like the place. Kind of funny. Kolai Cholakov, nice, always nice. Neeson Greenwich, hello there from Dublin. Nice to have you here. I don't know why. Every time I hear the Dublin, it's automatic in my head. Dublin and U2 go together. So I read Dublin, and every time I kind of have this image of like Bono and The Edge or something in my head. But of course, they are from Ireland. So nice to have everybody here. Says it's 2200 and still need to eat dinner. Well, that's, sometimes it's fun to have late dinner. Kind of cool, So nice to have you here. So SG2 is Nebraska. Hello there. It's always cool to have everybody on board. Say hi, everybody. It's really, really cold. Yeah, well, the United States is all Fahrenheit. Here in Canada, we're kind of a double standard. We most of my age, pretty much everybody knows they're Fahrenheits and they're Celsius. But the young generation, I guess, probably knows it better in Celsius now. That switch was kind of in my generation. The official switch to metric was somewhere when I was in late when I was in primary school, like 3rd or 4th grade. They officially announced it was the switch, and it was officially metric. But we're kind of, I go to the store and I order food. The other day I went to get some cheese, and he asked me, okay, about how much you want. And sometimes I'll say, I want to have half a pound. Or sometimes I'll just say, can I have, 200 grams or something like that, 225 grams. So, it's just crazy. Sometimes I'm in grams, sometimes I'm in... Actually, when I want to have a small amount, I'll often say in grams. So I want to have 100 grams of that. If I want a bigger amount, for some reason, instead of saying 454 grams, I'll say I'm going to take a pound of this. It's just funny. Cholikov says, was hoping to hear the medium wave test to Venezuela on 800 kilohertz. No signal here in Miami. Probably using the TWR Bonaire transmitter side. Yeah, what time was it? I remember I saw the test go through. What time was it? Here it's kind of difficult. I heard Transworld Radio Bonaire once in my life, very long time ago. It was like 2 a.m. and on 800 kilohertz in Montreal, we have a medium wave station. We have CJ80 800, so it blocks. It's impossible to DX on 800 kilohertz. Now that time, and I was maybe 17 or 18 years old, they had a power off because they were doing some tests on the transmitters, and that was scheduled to be like from midnight to 6 a.m. or something like that. And I was surprised because I was expecting to hear only U.S. stations on 800 kilohertz, and I heard Bonaire. I actually heard the distinct Transworld Radio on Bonaire, very weak in the mix-up of signals. And I was like, wow, I'm hearing it. But I believe they are very powerful on that frequency in the Bonaire Island. So it was kind of, wow, you know, kind of cool. Kind of cool. So, hello everybody. Kyle McBlain, something like that. Yeah, McBlain. Nice to have you here. Finally managed to catch a live show. Cool. Nice to have you here, Kyle. Pujo Jojo, hello there. Jerry's saying there's a lot of talk on the International Space Station. And kind of cool. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, they were. That's what I was thinking. I was about to mention that because I remember in the 80s they were like a huge powerhouse on 800. I believe they had like maybe 500 kilowatts, if not more, on 800. But you know, every station like lowers the power, costs less money. It all depends on who you want to, you know, join. I would guess 800 in the Caribbean probably makes almost all the Caribbean islands, and probably south of the southern border of the United States. Yeah, that's what I think, David Arden. That's I remember 800 used to be, I believe, 500 kilowatts, and that's when I heard them here. At 50, I don't think I'd be able to hear it anymore. But back then, they were very, very powerful on 800 kilohertz. And so that's why it made it all the way up from Bonaire, which is just above in the Caribbean, just above Venezuela, and it made it up to here in Canada and Montreal that time. Also, they had done transmitter repairs in the spring, in early spring, so nights were still quite long when they did the transmitter repair. So Sheldon, thank you for and welcome aboard, by the way. So it's currently 100 kilowatts. Okay, thanks for the info. But they used to be, I do think they used to be 500 kilowatts way back. They were more powerful than that at some point. Dave Todd, hello there, nice to have you here. So hey, today in the show, it's a very relaxed show. Okay, I haven't prepared officially anything. I had a kind of a weird week and had a lot of things to do, so didn't have too much time to prepare. But I thought, okay, we have the megahertz by megahertz that we can continue because we didn't check out all the frequencies back then. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about how things are changing now, because we are going into, you know, in 3 weeks' time, we're going to be in the fall in the northern hemisphere. They're going to be in spring. In about 3 weeks, we're going to have equal day and night everywhere. That changes propagation. We're getting into what I find one of the most interesting periods of propagation: September, October, as well as I like you know, February, March, or March, April. You know, that's kind of, you know, cool propagation, interesting propagation. It's a period of time where lots of DX can be really cool to receive on the shortwave bands. Also, we're having a bunch of there's like 3 or 4 sunspots that have popped up on the sun everywhere. So the solar flux was like 92 a little earlier. K index wasn't beautiful because we're in a coronal hole on the sun. So the wind, the solar wind, is actually stronger around Earth. So it sometimes triggers geomagnetic storms, and especially as we get into the equinox. September and March are the two periods of times where it's very easy, and it's not fully understood, but it's very easy for even a slightly stronger solar wind to actually do a geomagnetic storm. So in the past 24 hours, there were some strong geomagnetic storms. I think K index reached 5 at some point during the night last night. It was 3 when I checked now. I think it was 2 or 3. We're gonna. Did I leave the page open? I think I did. Yeah, it was K index is 2. Let's hope that it stays around that for the evening, so that we can check out. We can check out what's happening. Okay. 800 is, I believe, a mix of Spanish and English. There's all sorts of things. So cheers, everyone. Sleeman beer tonight. This one is the rail side. I have what's called the beer crate, which is 6 different bottles of Sleeman beer. I thought it was kind of interesting because the 3 of them I had tasted already, and 3 of them, like the rail side, I have not tasted. So what I have today is 3 that I didn't. Well, 1 that I tasted before, the cream ale. This one is the rail side, and the one I'll keep for last will be the 1514, which is a new beer I've never tasted, a little stronger. It's going to be kind of interesting to see. Danny, Shortwave Radio DX, hello there, nice to have you here. Jeff, KD5 QDO, nice to have you here from Gross, Texas. Hope the weather, I hope all of that water and that rain is over, because I mean, you guys really got it hard, and hope it wasn't too bad where you live also. What else do we have? Dave Todd says winter, fall and winter always better. You know, each season has its own particular propagation. I always say every season is a good season to the X, but it's different. It's really different, and that's what we got to remember for sure. What else do we have? C. Johnson, hello there. David Arden says, I would love to have propagation cheat sheet that would allow us to quickly figure out what all the indices indicate. Yeah, maybe, you know what, we have a lot of newbies. Maybe going through the indices a little more, again, is not a bad idea. So we'll actually do this today. We'll go through the indices a little bit and check out what they mean and how they affect the propagation, and how things change sometimes. So we'll talk about it today, David Arden, a little bit. Maybe it will refresh the memories. And Jeff Brazil, hello there. K7HVJ, HVG, sorry, J. I'm going to mix up the G and the J. So it's J. HVJ. Checking in. Hello there. Nice to have you here. Sheldon says Transworld Radio was 500 kilowatts back in the 90s, but now it's down to 100. So and it's they are multilingual. I remember they have Spanish and English, but I believe they had different languages, because they probably you know, want to go around with all the Caribbean islands, and of course they probably make a good chunk of the northern part of South America also, so they want to have different languages to reach pretty much everybody. So really really interesting. So okay, so 2 announcements. Tomorrow, September 2nd, we were supposed to have a show. It was the Saturday that I usually have a show, but I totally forgot that we are on the it's a holiday weekend here. It's Labor Day on Monday. So basically we have a 3-day weekend, and I had already prepared some events, some things to do with friends of mine, which means that tomorrow night I will not be at home. So for that reason, tomorrow there will not be a show. We're going to push that show to Saturday, the 9th of September. So no show tomorrow, 2000 hours UT. One next week on Saturday the 9th. Another thing I wanted to say is that next week it's going to be a different setup. Next week we're going to do the show from the VHF UHF channel. Why? Because next week, because a lot of people have demanded this, we are going to have a satellite listening show. So we're going to listen to amateur radio satellites and different satellites on the VHF UHF band, with hopefully, if everything works well, I will have up and running my discount antenna on the VHF UHF. I think it's going to be really, really cool. And I think it's going to be fun to check that out. So next Friday, we're going to listen to satellites on the VHF UHF. It's going to be something a little different. And of course, the other Fridays we'll get back into the shortwave schedules. And that's going to be on the VHF UHF channel instead of this one. Because we are going to tune above 30 megahertz and listen to different satellites in orbit, amateur radio satellites, and so on. So that's coming up next Friday. To answer your question, Pujo Jojo, there's a I will be posting after the show today on this channel a video with the schedules of every show that I do for the month of September. This will be something that I will be posting now. Every first of the month we'll have the schedule of all the shows with the dates. Because some of them are okay, because I mean they are every week. But sometimes, you know, some that are every 2 weeks on Saturdays, kind of difficult. So my discount will be up this week, Vaults. I just needed something to put it up, which I will have this weekend. So during the week it will be up and running, and I'll be testing it out a little bit, posting some videos also of the tests. I'm kind of curious to see how the performance will be, discount versus, you know, my vertical mobile on top of the metal shed. It's going to be kind of very, very interesting. So we're gonna check that out, and we're gonna have hopefully better signals. I'm hoping that the discount will have better signals for satellites. That's going to be really, really interesting for sure. Ryan Cash Register, I'm on 18135. There's an amateur radio operator right now. Very weak, but I was listening to two guys talking earlier. And of course, we're going to tune around the bands and see what's available. So we're getting into the fall in 3 weeks. And of course, down under, they're getting into the springtime. The equinox is a very, very interesting moment for DXing. And it's always kind of cool to tune around, you know, during September, October. Unusual propagation will bring you some distant stations that you don't necessarily hear very often. You know, every season has its own stations, I always say. And I think it's going to be really, really cool to tune around. And I'm going to tune around a little bit today, maybe a little more than usual. So Richard Cook's receiving Royal Air Force Volmet on 11253. So let's check it out. 11253. Am I hearing it? Am I hearing it today? I hear it very, very faintly in the background. It's usually much stronger than that here. So, but they very, very much in the background. 5450 was an amazingly strong this week. 2 nights I got it, and it was actually peaking at S9 plus 20. And I was like, wow. Interesting propagation, I can tell you that. Also, for those that are trying to get the famous buzzer on 4625 upper sideband, September, October are pretty much the best months for North America. So check it out, because I think these are going to be really, really some of the best months to receive the buzzer. Check it out. I haven't received it in quite a while. Last time I heard the buzzer, I believe, is like a month of May or something like that, or maybe early June. But it was like more like the month of May, early, I believe it was like mid-May was the last time I heard the buzzer. I haven't heard it during the summer. The summer is not the best time for the buzzer here. But you know what? Now September, October, check 4625 regularly. I can bet you that the buzzer will make it to North America quite regularly. We're also in the last full month of the schedules, basically, because the schedule season for the you know, the shortwave stations will change at the end of October, as they do, you know, twice a year. So it's going to be interesting to test out. And as we get into shorter days, some stations won't make it as well. I've been, the solar flux is not too bad now, but I've been watching the Radio Romania at 0100 in French, has a lot of difficulty making it on 9730 now, where in July it was like really, really strong. And that it starts to show that those shorter days are having an effect on the higher frequencies for North America. What receiver am I using? It's an AFEDRI, AFEDRI, software-defined receiver. Thanks, Sheldon, for sharing the websites for solar propagation and indices, by the way. Kind of cool. So a lot of people, Kyle, a lot of people have antennas in their attic, and depending on the noise you have, because that will be a big factor, the noise you've got locally. Some people actually have amazing reception with attic antennas. So and of course, try it out. So it could be interesting. So what else do we have here? Well, one thing for sure, Ryan, is you have to the C Crane Skywave. You got to try it for yourself. But from what I've seen, is many reports of people saying it's actually not bad a radio at all. I think you should have a lot of fun with it. And there's a nice little look at the C Crane SSB radio on the Shortwave Listening website also that was posted. Kind of cool, really, really cool. So 9745. Anything here on 9745? Let's check it out. I've got a lot of signals on the lower frequencies. You got to remember, guys, that here, so I hear 9870, which I believe is 9870 is Saudi Arabia, I think, right? 9870. Yeah, Saudi Arabia right now. Not super strong what is there in Arabic. 9870. If my noise was lower, it's actually strong enough because it's making it to S9. But remember, guys, here we're still 3 hours away from sunset. Days are still long. But it's going to be interesting. 9655 Romania. What is there here? Nothing here on 9655. I'm going to tune around a little bit for sure. East Coast of the United States, any tips? Of course, it's the best time to listen is late afternoon and all evening. There's a lot of stations. You got to get yourself some good schedules, like on primetimeshortwave.com. You'll have the English language schedules. Remember, times are in UTC. That's one thing that you need to know. So universal time. So really, just remember that the digits that you see, okay? Just forget about megahertz or kilohertz. You'll have, in general, in most receivers, 4 digits. This one has a little more because there's more precision, but 9655 kilohertz or 9.655 megahertz is the same frequency. It's just a question of, moving the frequency. It doesn't change. It's the same thing. It's just, it's a metric thing. So it's like, you can say megahertz, kilohertz, or whatever. Just remember your 4 digits and, or 5 digits depending on the frequency you're tuning around. So if you see 15155, you just need to have 15155 in that display, and you're going to get that frequency. If I, listen to 11850, for example, well, you just put 11850 on that display. It's like right now, if you're on the East Coast, if you have the radio ready and close to you, Romania on 11850, if you don't have too much noise, should be a possibility for you right now in English. I'm going to start an English broadcast in a minute. 11850. So 11850 Radio Romania is going to start in a few minutes. So that's something to check for. So well, loops are nice. They might actually, in a noisy environment, they might actually lower the noise if you can place it well. Also, they're more compact than, you know, like wire antennas. So that's Radio Romania.
This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our half-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and North America, the East Coast. We can also be heard on the internet in WMA, MP3 and AAC Plus format at www.rri.ro channel 1. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Flickr, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Vimeo, Dailymotion.
Well, 11850 Radio Romania International. Coming in well. It's usually a good signal here in Eastern North America. They also repeat, if you're on the East Coast, they repeat at 8 p.m. tonight, 97.30 and 73.75, I believe. So, oh, cool, Danny. Shortwave bought a Texan PL 360, 35 bucks on a Craigslist seller, says he talked. You know, it's hard not to talk for a while about shortwave when you meet somebody that talks about shortwave. So yeah, it'd be fun if he'd join the chat room for sure. Yeah, absolutely. That is very, very important because Sheldon has a request that is, I think, important. You know, I'm kind of, you know, getting used to where everybody is because I see most of you guys all the time. But remember that it's always useful if you hear something, post the frequency, say what you're hearing, and always post a little, you know, I'm located in the UK, I'm located in East Coast of North America, or, you know, just, in Texas, or in California, or whatever, because it's extremely important to understand that propagation isn't the same everywhere. So if you hear something on one part of the world, it doesn't mean you're going to hear it here. So for example, if somebody in the UK says, I'm listening to something on 3554, that's way too low for me at the East Coast of North America. But for you guys in Europe, that's a possibility because it's nighttime over there. So there's a lot of things that can change depending on where you are. So and in the chat room, you know, we do regularly have new people or people that don't really know where the others are. So when you hear something, post the where you are, and like that we will know if, you know, what region might be favored for that thing to listen to, or that signal. So for example, 11850, I believe that's directed to East Coast of North America. So Lou Rubens, hello there, nice to have you on board from Tampa Bay, Florida. Angelica's receiving 15016. That's the Royal Air Force. Check it out. Any messages right now? Nothing much. These are the U.S. Air Force messages. Yes, there. Not receiving them very well. On 111175, on 11175, I'm hearing something a little bit, but I usually get the U.S. Air Force much stronger than that in my location. I would guess. So propagation ain't the best today, probably. So yep, U.S. military emergency action message heard in Miami. So nice to have that detail. So like that, you know, it's kind of nice to see where people are receiving something. Let's tune a little bit. I'm gonna start at 10 megahertz, and I'm going to go up a little bit. I'm going to check out on the waterfall what type of signals we're getting here. Propagation doesn't seem that great, but so nothing here except tones, interference. That's also interference. Let's move up. And it's kind of cool, you know, with a software-defined radio, you see all the signals. I do get a lot of interference, unfortunately, like this one here. This crooked one is a switching power supply. This strong line here is probably one of the local, you know, some electronic device. So let's check out what we can hear. There's radio teletype around 11038. Dan Heavens says 15016, speaking S9 in central British Columbia. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Here's something. Let's check out. There's something here. 11185 around. It's going to be interesting to see what was that, if it repeats itself. Weighted Cube, nice to have you on board as usual. Yes, that would be nice. The QSLs. I imagine the Chinese manufacturer getting all these QSL requests, saying, "Hey, I've heard your Guangqi C115 switching power supply on my shortwave radio. I would like to have a QSL card. And here's the list of the frequencies I heard it on." And it's like, you know, you've got this page with 275 frequencies. And I imagine the Chinese guy saying, "What the hell the guy wants?" Grandly says 11850 Romania with strong signal in Connecticut, USA. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's usually a good one. It's usually a good one. Do I keep a logbook? I used to. And I'm going to show you guys how I kept a logbook for a long time, actually. For a long time, I had, sorry guys, for a long time, I had I don't have it. It was with my books, but I'm reorganizing all the office, and what's happening is I don't know where I put it. So for a long time I had this, you know, 3 spiral, like the spiral binded books, and I would have a logbook, and I have like here in a box something like maybe 4 or 5 years worth of loggings of stations. And it's actually a lot of fun to, oh, this is digital stuff. Some digital bursts on 11185. That's what shows up here. Little digital burst. So basically, I used to log everything I would receive. And it's a lot of fun to check the old ones. Also, it's giving you a little bit of nostalgia because you see all these stations you heard in the past. Today I don't really log anything. Honestly, today I'm more in the I don't know, I don't tend to have a log, not even you know, some people log on some software. Somebody was sharing the other day an Excel spreadsheet that is actually customized to log stations. I don't really log anymore. I just, you know, go around. If I hear something unusual, I'll just jot down the frequency and time that I heard it. But I'm not necessarily going to keep a log. It's not something I do anymore. But I don't know if some of you do still log and keep a log of stations. But 15155 Shalakov says he's hearing Adventist World Radio. I'm not hearing anything. Not really hearing anything. There's something on 15160. When I was at the D Expedition in Perry Island, I did hear 15155. Kind of weak, but It's the AWR from. I like it when they broadcast from the when they used to broadcast from Madagascar to Africa. I would get it all the time because it's in my general direction. From Madagascar sending to Central in West Africa, you're sending towards North America, and that was much better to receive that one. It was a stronger signal. So what else do we have? Joseph Ivakovic Jr., hello there. Really enjoy your show, thank you. He's got an ELAD SW2, an SDR Play Pro, and been a shortwave listener since 1970, and do some radio astronomy, Jupiter, Milky Way, pulsars from Battle Creek, Michigan. Cool. That's cool. Really, really, really cool. And welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the show. Nice to have everybody here. And yeah, well, of course. Okay, yeah, that's something I didn't think about. But C. Johnson says, if you're making a recording, you're auto-logging now. Yeah, okay, let's say I do keep a log, because everything I hear when I have an evening listening to the radio, I post a video on the YouTube channel. So, okay, it's a form of logging. It's a form of logbook. It's just on YouTube as videos, which is even better because now, you know, and actually I've been finding something really, really interesting. Since my channel has been open for many years now, I started going through. The other day, I went to my channel and I started looking at the first videos, because you can go and say, hey, I want to see the first videos. And wow, I mean, there are videos of stations that are gone now. And I was like, oh wow, okay, I'm listening to some stations. I have some videos of stations. So what's interesting here is, of course, if I'm posting videos of stations I hear, one of the things that's going to happen is that in some future, it's going to be an online history of a part of history of the shortwave radio spectrum, because there's going to be a lot of things that are not going to be there anymore. So it's kind of cool, and let's hope that, you know, this stays online forever. I think that you know, it'd be kind of nice to have you know, the day that I'm gone from this planet, knowing that all these videos could stay there for, you know, and even if for some reason shortwave isn't something to do in the future, having, you know, something, and all these channels also about radio that will show us and preserve what once was, or how it was in the past. So kind of cool. Yeah, there's the log tab on the HDSDR that you can use. That's true. You can log in the software if you want. But it's options I don't use a lot. And Mike DX, welcome aboard. So you know, some people do have logs and others not. You know, it depends. It really depends. What else do we have? So, hello, Man Radio DX, sir. David Snyder, hello there. Nice to have you on board. Yeah, it's true. You got your logins on your global tuners at Staten Island. That is true. That is true. I need to tune it more. I was on one of the Finnish radios on global tuners the other day, and basically I started talking with the guy, and the guy was there, and it was like, I guess in Finland it must have been like 2 a.m. 3 a.m. when I logged in. It was late evening here, and I talked with the guy that had that radio for like an hour while I was tuning around, and it was kind of very, very nice. Very, very cool. Granley has, and I actually have started doing this. Granley says, leave all your shows to your nephew so we can carry on the tradition. One of the things I have actually done with my nephew Gabriel is tell him, you know, if something would ever happen, my nephew will have the not just the possibility to you know, interact with the channels and everything, but on YouTube, on Facebook, on many websites, you have a place where you can actually say, if something would ever happen to me, that person is allowed to have full control of what's on, and the content, the posts, everything. And one of the first things I told him is, you know, you got to think about it just in case. And if something would happen to me, one thing that I want him to do is create a video and tell my fans and tell everybody on the different channels that I'm passed away, so that they know. And so, you know, we agreed to that. It's if you know, you don't want to pass away, but it's something you got to think. We're all going to be gone at some point, you know. And I thought, well, you know, if he can do that and you know, like preserve my like I was telling him, preserve my Facebook page as some kind of, you know, memory of my life and my ranting. And you know, in the YouTube channels, try to keep them active and try to keep them because you know, there's no, from what I understand, there's no rules on YouTube. If you've posted a video 10 years ago, it's still there. They don't they will maybe prevent modifications of some channels. I believe there's a rule about modifying a channel after an amount of years that you haven't been active, but there's I don't believe there's any rule on YouTube about we're going to erase the videos after a certain amount of time. From what I understand, YouTube is, for now at least, videos are still going to be there. Now, will it always be like that? I don't know, because I mean, just think of the amount of data, the enormous amount of data of all these videos on YouTube that's stored somewhere. So of course, maybe at some time they're gonna, like, you know, do cleanups or something, you know, with channels maybe that haven't been updated in years. So but I'd like those to be maintained in some way, you know. I don't want him to do the live shows because, you know, he's not going to continue the live shows, but it's kind of cool. Mandarin the Xer says, I only log my best catches by uploading a video on YouTube. So yeah, I don't do written anymore also. And Ryan Cash says, it's fun, I got one entry in my logbook. Well, that's cool. That's cool. And it starts like that. It starts like that. And you know what? Through the show, we're going to tune signals. You'll probably have more signals to put in your logbook. I can tell you that. Okay, what else do we have? Jim, 1211 plus subs. Hi, Jacques. Can I ask you, how easy and expensive is it to get into SDR? Thank you, Jim. Okay, how easy and expensive? Okay, you can spend a very small amount of money if you want to. There's these little dongles, these SDR dongles. I can show you one right here that are like not even 10 bucks on eBay. I probably have one here. It's always when you try to find something that you never find it, of course. And that's because I use SDRs from time to time, so you guys hear me well? Oh, I know where it is. I think I brought it with me at the CIDX barbecue, and it's maybe still in my bag. Here it is. So here goes, guys. think I might have, here we go. I'm going to reconnect. If it doesn't, we're going to reconnect it. So you can actually use a dongle like this. Now this one doesn't have shortwave, but there's like modified ones that are very inexpensive that give you the possibility to tune SDR. So here I'm just going to do something because the connection for some reason is gone. I don't know what I did, but I definitely did something. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop the PC and start it again because I think there's something going on with this right now. And I'm going to restart the SDR so that we can tune in. Sorry about that, guys. And so here we go. Here we go. So anyways, it starts with this. Then you have some that are a little more expensive. One of them is the Soft 66, for example, which is about $40. It is a Soft 66 is a dongle like this, but what they did is they also added a up converter in it, or down converter, and basically it adds the capabilities of shortwave and VHF UHF for around $40. And the $40 will give you surprising reception. And one of them, yeah, I know that the fan has failed. So anyways, surprising reception of what is shortwave. And I have some videos, by the way, on the channel about that, where it's quite surprising what you'll get, you know, with the shortwave and everything. And that's about $40. The software, like the one you're seeing here, is something that is totally free. So you don't have to worry about the price of the software. It doesn't cost anything for the software. It's really just the SDR or the software-defined radio itself that will cost you something. So here we go. In a few seconds we'll be starting the HDSDR again. Here we go. Just gonna wait for the PC to have completely started, because sometimes it doesn't work well at the start. And so with that, you have the possibility to listen to shortwave, and then there's more expensive stuff. Like the one I'm using is an ephedry, which is a around $200 receiver. And the ephedry is a, so here we go. Let's check it out here. Is it connected? And check out the network connection. Just going to start again. I went too quickly. Here we go. Network okay. Sample rate. There we go. Let's try 11850. There we go.
Also forbids drinking red wine.
Okay. So, Radio Romania. So anyways, this one's about 200. Then you have some stuff that, you know, there's the SDR play. There's so many different SDRs that you can try. But as for the biggest thing about SDRs is and that's probably the key to what you're asking as a question. The expensive side is not really there, because you can have an okay SDR for not that much. The biggest problem is how easy it is, and that's the problem. You have to be a little, you know yourself, know your way around a computer, because it isn't just you plug it in and it works. You got to tweak. So for example, if you use say you use the Soft 66 for $40, you got to understand that you have to use the Zadig software to install a special driver. Windows has its own driver for that little dongle like this. It's not a good one, because these dongles were made for HDTV on a PC. So the driver for TV is okay, but there's a modified driver for using these for listening to the spectrum of radio, VHF, UHF, and so on. So you got to install a special driver. You got to understand that. This one, you know, the ephedry, it's not that it's that difficult to install, but you know, it's installed through the network, and the default of the network, for example, for some people, are going to be okay. But for me, it was like 192.168.0.8. Well, my network is on 192.168.1 dot something, you know? And so basically, I had to, you know, figure out, oh, okay, I'm going to plug it USB. I'm going to go and tweak and change the IP, the IP address of the ephedry. Then I'm going to have to go and I'm going to go to my router and say, okay, I'm using a fixed IP for this you know, SDR. You can see how it can actually be a little complex to sometimes use an SDR, and that's probably what's keeping the SDR use at a certain level. If you're not very computer enthusiast, if you hate computers, SDRs are not for you. You're just going to be annoyed, and that's it. And you're better off with you know, a good portable radio or a little desktop or something. You know, it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. So hope it answers your question. And there's for every price, I can tell you that. So you know, it depends on, you know, why what you want to do and how good you are with computers, basically. Okay, what else do we have here? Aishalikov says you got a bunch of tapes from the 80s and 90s. I have those, and I need to really find those. I have a box. I was actually at the barbecue. I was telling Sheldon, I've got one tape that has the recording of Radio Moscow in 1986 announcing to the world that there was a problem with the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. I've got a few recordings of events that have happened. One when the USSR was on the brink of changing to what is today's Russia, or almost. Lots of interesting stuff. Recordings of stations that are gone and have been gone for a long time. All of these things are kind of interesting. So it's pretty cool. John Ritson says, my shortwave and ham is ruined at the moment from 2 to 18 megahertz. S9 plus constant white noise. You know what? DSL, you're saying ADSL, and I would not be surprised. I think one of the problems of my noise that I have here is that in the backyard, there's the telephone pole, and there's of course DSL internet and everything in there. I suspect that creates and generates a white noise around the yard. I really suspect that it does. So my ID on Global Tuners, I'm Tech. Oh my! I just got to remember Tech Guy Montreal. TECGUYMTL. That's my my handle on Global Tuners. I believe it is. So hey, Radio Zip, nice to have you on board. Actually live catching a radio video. Dissident says, hopefully YouTube is really paying out well. It's not. It's the somebody had the perfect phrase a couple of months back. It's the cheap labor of video. It's just horrible. But you got to do what you got to do, and you got to, you know, take what you got to take. Spaghetti Western, nice to have you on board again, as usual. Pretty cool. David Snyder says 9350 WWCR S10 English program. Yeah, 9350. Let's check it out here. Am I receiving it right now? Very weak over here. Let's check out WRMI. 11580 WRMI.
International, now Switzerland and South. In Bern, Switzerland. And you're listening to WRMI, Radio Miami International, Okeechobee, Florida, USA, and www.wrmi.net. Send us your comments and reception reports to info@wrmi.net.
So this is, I believe it's RAE rebroadcast from Argentina at this time, 11580. So yeah, hey Carol T, nice to have you on board. I was searching for a dongle and accidentally pressed some button on the keyboard that just deactivated tons of things. So rather than, like, you know, going to no, I'm not dying. Okay, no, I'm not dying. We're just talking about the fact that that you know, we were talking about, you know, how the YouTube channels and everything is kind of a testament of, you know, what happened on shortwave at a certain time. So if something would ever happen, my nephew will have control. Vault says French Windows, horrible. Actually, you know what? I never install French. Never, never, never. And I regret installing the French language one here, because one day I wanted to do a video about something in Windows 7, and I noticed, darn, I don't have an English language Windows 7. They're all in French. I can't explain to an English, you know, Windows channel how to do something with a French language Windows 7. So next time I reinstall, I'm gonna use the English version. So no, I'm not using a broadcast filter on the front end, Joseph Ivankovich. I don't really need to. It actually doesn't. The medium wave band doesn't interfere anywhere, so I don't need really to do any. It's actually very surprising. When I go at night, I easily hear ham stations on 160 meter band. There's a guy from northern New York, basically what's happening is that I hear, you know, these guys talking on 1850 lower sideband all the time. So PM1SVM, we need to start donating better cam, better microphone. Well, the cam isn't too bad. What I need more is better lighting. What happens is that I have two lighting systems here. I need more than two, and I need to light up like the background. So I need. I was looking at a lighting bar that would light up the background in kind of a color, you know, unified color. So that the biggest problem that I'm having with the camera is not the camera itself. It's the fact that there's too much too much contrast everywhere. You know, it's dark here and it's very bright here, and it's blue here and red here, and if I need to have a kind of more of a unified lighting everywhere, so everywhere is pretty much at the same level regardless of color and background, so that the camera will work better with that, because the camera isn't too bad, and that's far from what I really need to change. I am waiting on a microphone that I bought, because I returned the other one that doesn't work well. I'm waiting for a kit with several microphones. They will be microphones with, you know, like semi-professional microphones that that will have, you know, in front of me like in a studio. So when I do my shows, I'm going to have a microphone right there in front of me. And of course, I'm looking at some all the ways that I can, you know, plug everything so I have a better, everything could be better. So, well, I hope so. FEDRA HF Plus, there's going to be a lot of things that can be better with that for sure. Mario DX here. I cannot remember have a video of this, but maybe do one about the most recommended SDR for beginners, as it is very common question asked. Yes, that's true. I have a video on the basics of what is SDR, but not on what are the good SDRs out there, and that is something that I actually need to post for sure. And yeah, loop antenna vaults. That's also something that'd be that'd be good. So you know, it's kind of interesting. I have a lot of noise for sure. Yeah, I need to check that out. The RTL SDR with the P25 systems and stuff like that. I really need to check that out. So Dave Todd says the SDR Play has good online support, so that's cool. And yep, that's true. That's something I eventually would like maybe to dedicate like a PC here to like the ephedry, for example, and just have it online so that everybody can tune it wherever you are around the world. Take care, PLF Radio. It was nice to have you on board. Used all your videos to help me with the ICR20. So hello there, MTB, Prestatin Rogers. So used my help videos on the RCR20. I now have 9500. Interested in listening to the HF marine transmissions based in the UK and the device. Yeah, well, there's frequency ranges to tune around. There's not as much maritime transmissions there used to be on shortwave, but tune around. The best thing to do is tune around, and the if you Google maritime frequency, shortwave maritime frequency ranges and so on, there's a lot of things that you can check out. Henrietta DXer's answering a little bit like I do also. So yeah, the C920 is what I have, and it's what 90% of it's 90% of what YouTubers and people that do live streaming use as a camera, because it is, for the price, unbeatable. Like I said, what's needed here is not a camera; it's a better lighting system situation, and that costs a lot of money. I was just checking at how much money I would need to spend to have, like, a good lighting situation, and it is expensive. There's some really nice lighting systems at an electronics store where I go buy my antenna wire. There's actually a lot of lighting systems there. Slowly, surely. Carl Tench, nice to have you here, and hope everything's all right. So yep, 11580. It's a Spanish radio. Oh no, this is the German. Sorry, this is the German language of RAE, Argentina. It's in German, exactly. So what else do we have here? So let's. Hey, Joe Pesky, nice to have you here from Virginia. Pretty cool. Yeah, that is something that I'd like to do also. There's so many things, but you have to put priorities. I really need to put the priorities on very specific, things lately. So it's kind of a difficult thing. Hello there, Juan Amigo. Nice to have you on board from Barcelona. And the Countycom GP5 SSB C Johnson is quite good. It's a quite good radio. The biggest drawback I will have to say is the keypad. It needs a keypad, because it's dreadfully difficult to tune around. Just this week I posted a video. I was listening to the 426 Virginia maritime weather broadcast and upper sideband, to give you an idea, it receives well. If you look at the video, people are like, wow, that radio rocks, because it was just with telescopic antenna. The problem is, tuning to 4426 is a hassle, because you have to use the up-down buttons to get, you know, as close as possible, and then kind of, you know, tune your way around until you get to 4426. It's just a hassle. That's the biggest drawback of that radio. I've kind of compensated that by using the memories in a clever way, and actually that's a video I need to post, using the memories in a clever way so that you can very, very quickly go through spectrums and always be quite fast, close to a frequency range you want to tune in. Because without a keypad, a radio is really something else, you know. Keypads are just cool for that. You just punch in the frequency. And the CountyCom, that's what's missing on the CountyCom. As for the reception, sensitivity is amazing. It's a very, very, very nice radio. Form factor is unusual, but kind of nice. Upper-lower sideband reception is great. Little of clipping on the audio when the single sideband signals are very strong, but still, a very, very good radio. Amazing radio, I have to say. Hey Calvin, nice to have you on board, as usual. So I'm just going to go quickly through the list here, because everybody... Robert Sutherland, hello there, nice to have you here. Yeah, translator app for YouTube. Yeah, that'd be good. Some kind of translator app. You know, instant translations of anything on... That's something that'd be cool. Instant translations of anything on shortwave. So if you stumble about a broadcast in German or in Spanish or in whatever language, you know, instant translation, that would be nice. So, Gary Cotter, you got a Chromebook. I do not believe that an SDR has any... I haven't seen anyone use a Chromebook for a software-defined radio. You know, it's not impossible. It's just that, you know, getting an SDR to work on a Chromebook is the challenge. It's not Windows, it's not a Mac, it's not Linux, it's something else. You know, it's an operating system that is different. So I don't know. So I don't know. It's very, if anybody uses an SDR on a Chromebook, I've never seen one being used, so I don't know. Yeah, here too in Montreal here, the cops now are all the police, local police is on a digital system. But I did hear the other day while scanning through what was the old police frequencies, an analog transmission. So I guess sometimes they switch it off for some reason. And I've heard a lot, you know, here there's a transition in digital modes. I've heard a lot of complaints. I know that the provincial police, I believe, is complaining that their digital system doesn't work and they just switch it off. And they spend millions of dollars on that thing that doesn't work well. Joshua Gosnell, nice to have you from South Carolina. Welcome aboard. Radelva 65, hello there, welcome aboard. Hello there, Daniel Walsh. Nice to have you here. What else do we have? And Joshua Gosnell says, there's a dongle I saw on Amazon that is gray with SMA and 100 kilohertz to 1.2 gigahertz. So, yeah. Do you know the price, Joshua? You remember the price? So, yes, absolutely. And you are... you know, it's an exchange of service, Sheldon. You know what? I actually took the liberty to announce my live show on the CIDX Facebook group. So it's totally normal that you actually plug your Canadian International DX Club bulletin and membership information. So if anyone wants to have a sample copy of the CIDX bulletin, remember, it's a Canadian club, but it's not just for Canadians. It has content of everything from the shortwave bands, the medium wave, VHF, UHF, Everything's in there. Point of views of different things on the radio spectrum. It's a nice electronic bulletin. It comes in PDF form once a month, and you can get a free sample if you haven't done so. CIDXclub@yahoo.com, and if you like it, $10 a year is going to get you a full year. And it's not just, you know, the $10 is not just for that PDF. You're actually part of a club with other people, and it's kind of cool. So if you're wondering, you know, don't hesitate. Ask for a sample copy, and you'll see if you enjoy the little bulletin. It's well made, and it's very, very nice. CIDXclub@yahoo.com. So what else do we have here? So let's tune around a little bit. Okay. What else do we have? No, Chromebooks don't use Android. Chromebooks use a very specific operating system that is kind of a mix between Android and something else. It's not Android on a Chromebook. So I don't know. I really don't know. What else do we have? A couple of YouTube videos on Chromebooks and SDR dongle. Yeah, that would be nice, but I do not have a Chromebook here. So, you know, the idea is there something on the Chromebook? I have tried, by the way, Vaults. I do have 2 laptops with Linux right now. One which is going to have a Linux version every, like, 3 times a week, because I'm going to talk about different versions, different distros. But I have one that is that I like a lot, and I've kept it like that. It's the one I'm using right here with the chat room right now, which has Ferrin OS, which is a variation of Linux, of the Linux Mint distro. And I've tried to have Linrad work with my Fedri. I've not been able to have it working, so I need to tweak that more. I guess some of that problem of not having it working is due to the fact that I also am not very good with Linux. So I guess there's some things that I'm maybe missing out. And when I try to connect and to have it working with, you know, even with a dongle, it's very complex. I'm trying to understand something here. I've noticed that it detects my dongle, for example, but it's, I don't know, I haven't been able to have it working correctly as of yet. So maybe I need to check out a channel of somebody using Linrad to work with SDRs. Take care, Sean Fay. It was nice to have you on board as usual. And yeah, you know, Jerry says they should put a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi feature on the GP5 SSB to have a keyboard. Yeah, well, I guess, you know, I'd rather have a, you know, direct entry keypad. Robert James says, picking up 11580 like gangbusters here in Aurora, Illinois, near Chicago, with the Texan PL880. Great receiver and a Sony loop antenna. Cool. Ernie Turner, nice to have you here. Pretty cool. Nice to have all of you here. So, let's tune around a little bit. And let's tune around a little bit and check out what's on the bands. 11635, let's see if I hear the Cuban, yep, Cuban ladies there, giving her numbers. There's the digital stuff right now. I'm just going to go back to the guys IRC here. $11,635. Radio said non-SDR question. Texan 880 or Greenwich Satellite Executive? I don't have a lot of experience, or I've read much about the Grounding Satellite Executive, but I can tell you that the Texan PL880 is an amazingly good radio. So, I think that, you know, could be. Master Player 29 can get an RTL SDR with an up converter and can use that on a Chromebook. Okay, that's what I saw here also. So if somebody wins the lottery with the Cuban numbers, you know what? That's kind of so hey 1RR, hello there, nice to have you here from Norway. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Oh, Sheldon, I will be I don't know if I should announce it here, but I will be officially working at Microsoft on Mondays and Wednesdays starting September 11th. It's my new part-time life, and it's a little experiment, and I'll see if I want to continue or not. I've pretty much convinced them to do whatever I want. It was difficult to convince them to be part-time because they just wanted to have somebody full-time. But I guess I convinced them that it maybe is worth it to try it out. Because I was very honest and told them, look, I'm a YouTuber, and as being a YouTuber, I need time for my YouTube channels, and I have live shows that I will that I'll continue doing, and that I don't want to. And I will be in charge of a little gang there. Like, I'll have 12 people under my supervision. So we'll see how it goes, and that's my new part-time life, and I don't know how it's gonna go, but it all starts at 9:30 a.m. Monday, September 11th. So cheers for that. Well, I'll cheers with a new beer. So this one is the Cream Ale, which I had in the past, which is a very, very good beer. So I've been collaborating with Microsoft for a while here in Montreal. I've been going there several times a month because they kind of like the fact that I'm outspoken, that when something's crappy, I just say it out. You know, we were like 10 candidates, and I was the only candidate that said, well, that is crap, and that will never work. Where everybody else would just say, oh yeah, well, it looks nice, and it looks cool, and you know, it's like, no, I'm not that kind of guy. It's crappy, and that's a stupid idea. And I think that's what they like. They like the guy that says that's a stupid idea and should be changed. And there's a lot of let's say it clear, and I said it exactly like that, I believe. I said there's a lot of shit in Microsoft that needs to be removed, and you know, you can't change the world, but maybe you can do a little something that will change something somewhere in the future. So that's Jeff Miller, hello there, nice to have you on board. And by the way, Jeff Miller is saying, Radio Ship, that you should look at Oxford Shortwave log channel on YouTube. Oxford Shortwave log. He's got videos and opinion of the Eton Satellite Executive versus the PL880. Maybe that's going to help you. Joshua Gosnell's receiving BBC on 11810. It ain't very strong lately here on that frequency. but it's there. It's actually a little better on 12095. So BBC World Service from the Ascension Island transmitter side, 12095 and 11810. Not very strong, but it's there. And we're going to check that out. Casey Red Dragon, welcome aboard. We're going to check out for SSTV. Let's check it out. 14230. It'd be fun to have some slow scan TV. Somebody keying up. We're going to leave it there a little bit, see if there's some slow scan TV. So what else do we have? Tom A says 6267 Mustang radio, playing songs from my teenage years in Somerset, UK. Do you guys whistle in your microphone when you go on the 20-meter band? I don't know. So anyway, cheers. And I know that Shaman says it started buffering. Everybody, yeah, probably. Microsoft saying, shh, don't say a word. So, I don't know. We'll see, and I'm keeping my options open. And I'm actually, you know, the other big thing is that I haven't worked for a company in 20 years. I've been self-employed for the past 20 years. So it's also something that's a big change. It's a big change for me, and you know, waking up in the morning to go to work, which is something I'm not very much used to anymore, because I always do my own schedules. You know, even when I was a tech guy and I had a lot of tech jobs, I would almost never put somebody in the morning, because I like sleeping until 9 a.m. and I like, you know, when I wake up, I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to, like, okay, I gotta take a shower and dress up and take my coffee and eat and, you know, be stressed out. I'm the kind of guy that in the morning it's, you know, coffee time and relax, and we'll work later on in the day. So I've always, my tech guy duties were always 80% of the time were starting from about noon, and I'd rather go from noon to midnight than go from, you know, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I've always preferred that. It's me, you know. Some people like to wake up early in the morning and finish the day early. I prefer having my mornings doing just relaxing, and then we go to work. So that's, you know, but 9:30 isn't too bad. It's, you know, we'll see. Anyways, we'll see what's gonna happen. What is that on 7195 saying tap tap tap? Probably some kind of amateur radio operator, but let's check it out. So we're gonna tune around a little bit, okay? And I don't know if we can wait that long for me to improve Windows. Yeah, I will be on what is partly a Windows team, by the way. So I think that, you know, just saying, you know, that is bad and that's just, you know. So I'm hearing a key up here on 7195 right now. So anyways, what else do we have? We're going to tune a little bit the bands. What are these number stations? Well, number stations are, from what we know, stations that are simply stations that are government owned probably, and are sending secret messages, basically with that. Hey, I'm just gonna plug myself a little bit for you guys, as you know, it's not because I'm gonna go in Microsoft, I'm gonna be rich 2 days a week isn't exactly gonna change my financial situation that much. But PayPal donations, paypal.me/shortwave, great way to help me out. I want to thank everybody that have donated, by the way. Patreon at patreon.com/radio-in-computers, another great way to help me out. It helps me continue in what I'm doing, and your donations have been very, very helpful. And don't worry, guys, whatever happens with Microsoft, I'll still be here doing live shows. And actually, that's how I negotiated my schedule at Microsoft. I told them I'm not going to give up my live shows just because I'm working here. And that's showing you how dedicated I am at doing YouTube stuff. And of course, working from home and doing this is fun. So, you know, so if you guys, and Patreon, be very careful the way you set it up. It's extremely important. Sometimes I almost think it's better to use PayPal because, you know, you just do a donation, that's it. Sometimes on Patreon it can be tricky, so be careful with that. PayPal.me/shortwave is the place to go. And as I was saying this, if we've just touched the 100 mark of people watching. That's kind of cool, And I'm going to tune around the bands a little bit. QRP Radio listener from Ponza Island, Italy. Welcome aboard. It's really fun to see these people from everywhere. It's really, really cool. So yeah, Microsoft should send me a extremely generous donation for the Windows channel that's helping out everybody that gets problems with their darn Windows updates. Windows 10 Beer Edition. Sheldon says, first request for a CIDX sample today. Just came in as a result of this show, so it's pretty cool. So, hello John Young. Really nice. So, yep, Cortana, get me your beer. Yeah, Cortana. Actually, what we need is not just Cortana giving me a beer, but we need the Cortana, you know, the sexy Cortana look. When you look at videos of Cortana, they always give her this very sexy look, you know, as long as she doesn't sing or, you know, give out jokes. She always has bad jokes. So anyways, you're listening to the Shortwave Radio Show. This is every week on this channel at 2000 hours UTC on Fridays. And we, of course, talk about Shortwave Radio, tune the bands, and we're going to tune a little bit, then we're going to go to what I wanted to say about maybe just a little refresh of what the different indices mean when you actually go watch the different, you know, A, K index and solar flux and what they mean for the shortwave propagation. Jason Wallace from New Zealand, hello there, nice to have you on board. And Mark Morgan, hello there. Yep, 2000 UT every Friday we're here. Okay, every Friday. Next week's exceptional is going to be on another channel because we're going to tune satellites. But every week at 2000 UT we are here, and every 2 weeks we are on Saturdays. So the next Saturday show will be Saturday, September 9th. And it's fun to just it's fun to just, you know, do these live shows and have a lot of fun tuning around and with great people. The chat room is full of great people. It's just really, really fantastic. There's an IRC chat room on the Digital Addictions also, where there's some people there, and it's nice to be live for sure. M. Blair. Yes, very well here, actually. Everything's quite all right. And as I'm sipping my second beer, which is the Silver, sorry, no, it's the Sleeman Cream Ale right now. Oh God, I hate Clippy. I always found Clippy to be such horrible help. The Clippy itself, the animation is kind of cute, but the help was just bad. Okay, give me a radio check, 14.188.5. 14.188.5. Let's go there. Here we go, upper sideband. Let's check it out. Do we hear Joshua Gosnell? It's rather quiet right now. AM/FM DX Hungary, nice to have you here. Yep, beer and DX, perfect mix. Vianney Arsenault, bienvenue. Welcome aboard, VE2VMA. VA2VMA, pretty nice. And let's check out our fun. So 94.75, 94.75. So I haven't heard anything, Joshua. There we go. Yeah, it's WTWW usually, but I don't hear nothing right now. Let's start. I'll start at 7 megahertz and go up slowly. We're gonna see what we can hear and tune around. Pretty sure. Voice of Korea 15245. Nah, I don't think I'll get that one. AM/FM DX. I never hear it in that frequency. There's nothing really here. Can I hear just a little something in a signal? Nope, not even a peep of signal or anything. So, fortunately. So let's start with some. So here there's a strong something. That's interference. Any AM stations here? There was one here, I believe. So let's tune around the 40-meter band a little bit. Let's check out what we have. So there's a 7145. No problem, Joshua. Could have worked. We never know. It depends on propagation. Could have been really, really strong, and we would have heard you. Or you know, sometimes it really, really all depends. Mark Morgan in the IRC chat room. Hello there, and we are live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. As apparently I don't say it enough, and everybody's asking me all the time, "Where are you from?" So let's. I'm starting to drink a little faster now. Usually means I'm having fun. I'm going to check something though. We're going to. Yeah, of course, Firefox needs to update now. Hate it. There we go. And we're going to Mozilla start page. Yeah, we all know that. Mozilla is a fantastic browser, and I've never used it a lot. dx.qsl.net. And let's check out propagation, as with the new indices are in, probably. Solar flux 93, A index 21, K index 2. Let's make this real big and check out what these numbers mean. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna recap quite fast before we tune again what these indices are. So dx.qsl.net/propagation is a place where you get basic indices that are very useful for any shortwave listener. Okay. SFI is solar flux index, and it's at 93 right now. What's that? Think about the solar flux as the amount of energy that the sun is actually sending out. The sun has a cycle of 11 years, and in that cycle of 11 years, it doesn't output the same amount of energy. There's the peak of solar activity, where the maximum of energy is sent out. Then we have the bottoms of the solar cycle, where the amount of energy from the sun is less than it should be, or you know, it's simply the way the sun works. It has a cycle. We're at the downward spiral right now, solar cycle 24, and very close to solar minimum. So this goes from 60 to 400. The highest I've ever seen personally, many years ago, 353 I believe is the highest I've seen. The lowest I've ever seen, I think, is 64. So we're at 93. It's not very high, but it's higher than, you know, it's been in the past few weeks. Why? Because I believe there's a sun somewhere here where we can see something, sun images. So there's some sunspots on the sun, and these sunspots, and we see here that they're little places of energy. So there's a few sunspots on the sun that are actually giving a little more, you know, power to the output of energy from the sun. So this is measured at 2,400 megahertz, and it is a measurement of how much energy is coming from the sun. It has a direct impact on the shortwave propagation, especially on high frequencies, because the more this number is high, the higher this number, so the more the ionosphere will be ionized, and the better it will support higher frequencies in the propagation. So at 93, I wouldn't be surprised, you know, maybe there's nothing on, but I wouldn't be surprised. It usually starts to open the 10-meter band when we get close to 100. So technically, okay, and this is really making it simple, 93, so technically the higher this is, the better it is. So I'm at dx, I'll just put that here, dx.qsl.net is where I am at. And you click on propagation. So the higher it is, the better it is. That's the simple explanation. It's a little more complex than that, but if we put it simple. A index is the average of this thing. A and K have an interaction with each other. K and the C is the state of the geomagnetic field, basically, around Earth. This ranges from 0 to 9. Technically, 0 is fantastically good for shortwave propagation, because the higher the K index, the more unsettled is our geomagnetic field. It often has an impact on shortwave propagation, often increases absorption of certain frequencies on the HF spectrum. So you kind of want to have the K index the lowest possible. 2, not too bad, not too bad. It's been as high as 5 today. And so you want to have this as the lowest possible. You see the A here is 21, it's red. That's because when this rises, A has also a number that rises. But this one indicates an average of the past 24 hours. So it's not immediate. The A index is not what's happening right now. It's what in the past 24 hours it looked like. So it's red. The number is red, you see here. It shows you that in the past 24 hours we had some you know, problem, some geomagnetic storming. We had like G1 storms, and that always impacts propagation, often changes propagation. It doesn't mean because the K index is high not to listen, because sometimes it changes propagation in a way that's weird, and you might hear a country or a station you never hear because it's enhanced, while another one that you hear every day is not there anymore. You know, if you have a K index of 6, you might not even hear Radio Romania that you listen to every night because it just doesn't propagate. So K index, the lowest possible, and the A index, well, it's an average of the last 24 hours, so it doesn't really matter that much. It just indicates if, you know, things been active or not. And the K index also is color coded. 2, 1, 0 is green, means pretty cool. 3, 4, and 5, I believe, are yellow, means it's getting complicated a little bit. And above 5, it's red to say, look, we're in major geomagnetic storm. And that will be a little more difficult for the propagation on shortwave, but still try it. And here's an example of what the sun looks like right now. And we're gonna. So this is the sun right now, and look at these. This group here, 2674, is amazingly big. Just to give you an idea, each spots here are bigger than the Earth. Like the Earth gets in there like many times, so they're just huge. So it's amazing because we have a lot of sunspots in the past week. Kind of interesting to see. And sometimes these spots can actually create and have some, you know, flares. So something to be careful about because changes propagation. Hey, David in Barcelona, nice to have you on board. Scott Lay, hello there. Nice to have you here. And receiving 11580, pretty cool. WRMI. Did I miss anybody saying hello? Yep, very useful site, as you say, AMFMDX Hungary. Absolutely. So it's pretty cool. And anybody in Europe receiving 6270? Sounds piratey. It's probably pirate. It is in the pirate band for Europe for sure. So it's, you know, yeah, Master Player 29, absolutely. A lot of people don't have, but it's such a quiet channel on the IRC that it's easy to kind of think there's nobody there. So actually there's something very just be careful with the wording. Sporadic E propagation does not come from the fact that we have sunspots. Sunspots will increase the solar flux usually. So you see there's sunspots, solar flux at 93, which is higher than it's been in the past few months. It will help 28 megahertz, but it's not sporadic E, Skip. It's simply that because the ionosphere is ionized more strongly, it can now support 10 meter band, 28 megahertz. Because sporadic E propagation is different. This is caused by a mix of, you know, weather phenomena and everything. It's something very unique, and it's very localized. Sporadic E is patches of ionization that happen at very specific places within the ionosphere. So it's a different, it's a different way of propagation, basically. And it does not have that much of an effect. The solar activity doesn't have much of an effect on sporadic E, Skip. More like weather patterns. So what else do we have here on the 40 meter band?
And she gets very generous educational add-ons at the end or even other places. So that's
some ham. So 7205. $7205 is Radio France International in French. So I'm receiving France on 7205. China Radio International on 7285 in English. And this is from the Albania transmitter site. China Radio International.
Are you a single dog? Do you need a hug? Well then listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We got the toxic habits that might be keeping you and Heidi Lau with the teddy bear. Just shake it off, single dogs. I'm just joking.
You don't want to sing a nerd song?
No. I do like to sing, but anyways, we gotta help these single dogs out. Ladies!
Yeah, okay.
What are these things? The toxic habits.
See, I cannot find your girlfriend for you when you're earning, but at least I can try to help you keep a girlfriend.
Thanks. Oh, yeah, I need that too.
So apparently she can help in keeping a girlfriend. Maybe he wants her to be his girlfriend. C. Johnson, I'm not good at CW. I'm not good at Morse code. I tend, if it's slow enough, I will get the drift of what's happening. So like on maritime stations, when they repeat themselves all the time, I will be able to ID what's being sent. But I have to say, if amateur radio operators sending a fast Morse code, forget it. I'll get only a couple of letters here and there, but nothing more. I've never trained my ear to Morse code enough to really be good at it. But in a slow sent CW, I'll sometimes be able to, for example, I'll be able to identify what's the call letters of a station, for example. And that is if they are common letters, like W or K, because the United States ham stations, V stations from Canada. But any unusual call sign, I might actually miss it out. And sometimes I have to think about it. What was that letter, So, yep, China radio booming in from everybody. Yanni Asano says 7285. Good signal with vertical antenna. A R5 Crushcraft. So, WRMI is in transmitting from Okeechobee, Florida. So WRMI is from Okeechobee, Florida. So let's go up and see if there's any other things here. See what we can hear. $74.95. $74.95. What is $74.95? Oh, it seems it's from France and it should be Radio Algérienne. So it's Algeria via France transmitter site. 7495 in Arabic. This is Algeria. Wonder if the QSL. Wonder if we sent a QSL reception report to Radio Algérienne on 7495 and tried to So yep, they are from France. They used at some point to transmit from Algeria directly, but I believe now it's only from France. So what else do we have here? So let's check out anything else in the 7550, I believe, to be all India radio. Let's check 9445. Yep. Yeah, it's the same program. 7550 and 9445 are the same program. All India radio in English right now, as AM, FM, DX Hungary is receiving. Danny Shortwave Radio DX says, after many months of trying, I finally got to the basement of radio listening and received VLF reception of WWVB time signal. Wow, this is amazing. I've never received it. I have to check that video, Danny Shortwave. I've never received it, I believe, on 60 kilohertz. I got that buzz on 60 kilohertz. 4524, new Russian beacon. That's possible. You know, Russian beacons are all over the spectrum. There's so many Russian beacons everywhere. So it's possible. That's totally possible. Force of Greece missing on 9420, but back on 9935, says Michael Bott. Let's check it out here. 9420 is not there. Nothing there. 9935. Yeah, it's not very strong, but it's there. 9935. I do get that Greece on 9935. Nissan Greenwich says 4524. Strong in Dublin. Is is it a Morse code beacon you're getting, guys, there in Europe? 4524. Is this some kind of Morse code beacon? They have a lot of beacons scattered all across the shortwave spectrum. It's just incredible. So what else do we have here? Anything else? Let's check it out. Almost 2,200 hours. Almost 2 hours in the show already. It's incredible. Time just flies, man. What else do we have here? Okay, this is... Oh, 7880. Isn't that the fax from Europe? Let's try to decode this. I'll start multi-PSK. Seven, 8, 7, 9 upper sideband. This is WeatherFax. Richard Cookrick says 7880 strong. No, this is a WeatherFax. Definitely. And it's I believe it's from, isn't that one from Germany? Let me just check it out here. 7880. Fax. So this it's the Hamburg-Pinneberg, Germany fax station, 20 kilowatts on 7885. So this is the German station sending WeatherFax. Kind of cool. So 7880. And that's kind of the end. It's a little groggy because it's not very strong, but we do see some pattern within the noise. So it's pretty cool. So 7, 8. Pretty cool. So that one was from Germany. At least we got a part of the code. 7879. So what else do we have here? Anything interesting in the 8 megahertz range? Mostly utility stuff in the 8 megahertz range. It's sometimes kind of cool to listen to. See what we can get in there. Oh, 8764. This is weather broadcast on 8764 upper sideband. It's 764 upper sideband is the Chesapeake, Virginia weather broadcast from the U.S. Coast Guard. 8764 upper sideband. We're gonna check it out. Let's put this down here. Let's go to let's take the browser. Let's go to the U20. U20 SDR. Let's check it out. So what do we have on 4.5? That is interesting. That is interesting. 4524. And this is from the Netherlands software defined receiver. Huh. What is that? According to that's very interesting. According to a numbers and oddities bulletin that I have here, it's a station called S525. It apparently is from Russia. And it's a channel marker, a tone channel marker. That's what they say here. It's code. What they call it is F4525, S4525. So on 4524, it's a channel marker, single tone channel marker. That's what I get here. And it's presumed to be from Russia. So it's presumed to be from Russia, that channel marker. No, really, really weird. I love this when we hear these things, you know, that we never hear. Especially when we're tuning the bands. It's just so cool to hear all of these stations. Nick Amendo from Romania. Nice to have you on board. So it's kind of cool. For somebody asking 13825, 845, sorry, which is normally WWCR on 13845. Well, a channel marker is kind of a place where you just put something that is to identify, so that somebody using whatever means of communication you use with that can simply, you know, quickly tune and know that that's a frequency where there's something, or where that transmission, so at some point there could be some transmissions going through there. Right now it's just tones, but maybe there could be some, you know, communications going through at some point. Maybe sometime somebody will hear something. Maybe it could be interesting to tune it regularly and see if there's anything. You know, it's like 4625, the buzzer. The buzzer is usually just a tone, but from time to time people have heard and received some communications coming, you know, people giving out numbers and all sorts of weird communications, basically. So what else do we have in here? We're at 9 megahertz. 285. Let's check it out. So here is. We'll pass on Mr. there.
First the prophecy and the hellish decree.
And 505.
God bless you. Maranatha.
That's pretty much it, David, in Barcelona, as he says. I guess channel markers are a way to say this frequency is mine, don't mess with it, and that's pretty much what they are, actually. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jerry DX says, Captain Dave show on tonight on 3843 LSB. I'm going to have to check that out tonight. Mike McDonald, hey there, nice to have you on board. And says 5292 Russian military marker, talks about Russian markers. Yeah, there's a lot of that by the way, Priom, PRIYOM.org is an amazing website for anything that is number stations. So this is Brother Stair. Let's move on. Radio Marti for United States on 9565. We have Voice of Turkey English 9830 right now. Voice of Turkey in English 9830. And I will go to the wee wee room, check if DX the cat, no, DX the cat's inside already. I'm going to go to the wee wee room and leave you with Voice of Turkey for a few seconds.
Speaking of Northwestern Korea province, another Deputy Prime Minister declaration that is unacceptable for the war of unfortunately below blood and death means persecution. The U.S. NY, the United Nations simply calling out the government of Myanmar to exercise restraint after reports of mass second death among the Muslim Rohingya population in the Northeast states. The United States supports democracy for the Burmese people and we condemn attacks by its encroachment of the state. As it said in a statement, Burma is the former name of the Southeast Asian state of Myanmar. However, as Burmese forces like to prevent further violence, they have a responsibility to adhere to president's law, which includes refraining from attacking innocent civilians and assistance workers and ensuring assistance reaches those in need. She added, the statement comes after the State Council informed call.
Propagation not too bad, 9830, Voice of Turkey in English. Yeah, often that's what happens here too, Richard, on 9565. Sometimes I hear the jamming more than I hear Radio Marti. So, with a Cuban jammer often there. Vienna Arsenault, that is not very far from where I am. He's more in the east part of Quebec. 20 dB signal on 9830, pretty good. As Jerry says, Solar Flux 93, K2. So let's hope it holds up because we're in the a solar wind right now. We're in a coronal. We're actually facing a coronal hole on the sun, which means the solar wind is actually faster. So it can easily change conditions immediately by simply starting a geomagnetic, some geomagnetic storming. So what else do we have here? Dan805 says 7210. What's on 7210? Sounds like 7210.
Indicó el viernes que no analizará el redespliegue de armas
China Radio
estadounidenses.
7210 is China Radio International in Spanish, and it comes from the Albanian transmitter site also. They usually pack really good signals there from the Albania transmitter site. Is amazing for China Radio International. They're just packing such a great signal there. So pretty cool. 5025. It's still too early for 5025 for me, I believe. Nothing. In the evening, I hear Radio Rebelde really well, but it's still too early. We're still about an hour and a half away from sunset here. Saudi Arabia on 9870 in Arabic. Thanks for letting me know, David Walker. I'll be able to post a video about this later. Thank you very much for letting me know. I was hoping. And David, I don't know if you noticed, but the silence from Donna Sakar since yesterday was kind of post something, tell us something. It's like I'm looking at the post every freaking 30 minutes to see if you're going to post something. So thanks, David, for letting me know. We'll post that later on my the Insider and the Windows channel, and upgrade the laptop here. Hopefully it's fast enough. I might even talk about it later today on my on the channel. So thanks, David. So 9870, which is Saudi Arabia. $9935 is Greece, and I think we have Mr. Paul the Cat. I don't know if he's gonna come here, but silence was golden. Yep, absolutely. Okay. Come on, people want to see your face. Put that. Paul the Cat wants to. He's the shy type tonight. Like a little sleepy. That's it. Sorry, guys. What's that? He's looking at me like, what the hell you want? Oh, God. So, M. Blair says 9870 S9 Plus in Memphis. ICOM IC 7300 with a Alex loop. Hey, come on. Oh, you lost it. Come on. Hey. Way. Here's Mr. Paul. So just to make sure you guys see Mr. Paul correctly. Mr. Paul the Cat. You gotta see. Yeah. Always try to. Here we go. Precious little face. Hey, kitty. So Cat says hello. And you know what? The funny thing is that he sleeps, and the fact that I'm talking, he's wondering, and he has to come and see what's happening because he's wondering why I'm talking all the time. It's like when I make a lot of videos in one day for YouTube. At some point, if I make a video, he has to just come over and look at me like, okay, who are you talking to exactly? You know, it's kind of funny. So here we go. He's putting himself a little comfy. So hey there, Mr. Cat. So anyways, you know, yeah, little sleepy cat. He went outside, and I don't know what he was chasing earlier, but before the show started, about half an hour, he was outside and running like crazy and jumping in the air, and I don't know about what, in the neighbor's yard. It was just so funny to watch. So, Kiki. Vianney Arsenault has a cat called Kiki, female cat. Cool. 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 So anyways, we are tuning the shortwave bands, and this is the Shortwave radio show. And yeah, the star of the show, absolutely, Ernie Turner. Nice to have you here. So, well, he must be chasing something, because I did like not only see him jump on something that I didn't know what it was, I also saw him chew on something. So I was like, oh, he's caught something and he's eating it. And you know, I know here in the house there's no flies, because if there's one fly, he's crazy running around to catch it. So kind of cool for that, at least. Hey, Niels Pedersen, nice to have you on board from Sweden. And yep, fast ring build out. So no problem, no problem. I'll be posting it after the show is ending. I think, you know, it's Friday night. So a special guest appearance today with DX the Cat. Yep, exactly. So it's just funny. And yeah, he just doesn't mind. He's like, you know, he just loves being around. So, you know, whether it's radio or whatever, he's just happy to be with me. It's like, and it's just so funny because it's gonna, you know, really sometimes he will totally ignore anybody else and just stay with me all the time. And John Ritson says he's got a big ginger Tom, just like Paul, called Neo as well. Two girls, Babs, and Pudding, and another male named Normal. Wow. Hey, Rich in Atlanta, Georgia. Nice to have you here. Make sure the X doesn't dig his nails into the low side band. Oh, God. Dan Evans says, 5 cats and 1 wife. Oh, cat control, yeah. So, can I tune the bands a little bit, man? Because, you know, I was kind of tuning around. I know it's not as comfy, but I'm going to put the keyboard here. So like that, you can stay comfy if you want, and I continue tuning around on the bands. So let's check it out. We've got a little very weak WRMI on 9955, something on 9980, very weak something on 10 megahertz, not really knowing what it is. Anything else here? Let's check it out. Let's put an upper sideband, tune around. Yeah, 11820 is Saudi. I'm gonna come to it. I'm gonna actually go up the bands and we're gonna check it out. What else do we have? Nothing much here. 11 megahertz. Anything in 11 megahertz to talk about? Not much. So go up. Oh, lots of signals on the 25 meter band. Let's check it out. So we've got radio, a WRMI on 11580 in Spanish.
È stata resa nota nel quadro di un ciclo di dissertazione su scienza, tecnologia e sviluppo sostenibile.
I think this is the DX show from like Frecuencia al Dia or something like that in Spanish, 11580 WRMI. And what else do we have? I'm drinking a mix of ales. I have something called the Beer Crate, which contains 6 beers. I drank 3 yesterday with the Windows show, as a donation was given to me with the express instructions that I needed to have a beer yesterday. And I have 3 left today, so it's 3 different beers. This one is the cream ale from Sleeman, and the one that's left is a 5514, which is a stronger beer that I've never tasted from Sleeman. Canadian beer. B. Hello all, Phil Ireland has a great video on the new Digitech with SSB from same as C-Crane Radio. So that's interesting. I'll check that out. That could be a very interesting one for sure. Absolutely. The new Digitech. Which is pretty much the same, absolutely. So pretty cool. Okay, Jane Dagger, nice to have you here. Hello there. Oops, I need a drink. Yes, you do. So, lots of people reporting 11,580 with a great signal. Let's check out what else is there. Anything here? Okay, Radio Havana, Cuba in Spanish, 11,760. Let's match that tone. So Radio Havana, Cuba, 11,760 with in Spanish. There's something here. There's something on 11,764.6 or around. Let me check that out. 11,764.11,764. Oh yeah, it's Radio Super Radio Doce Amor from Portugal. In Portuguese from Brazil. Sorry. So it doesn't have a very strong audio, but 11,764.6. I am hearing Super Radio Doce Amor from Brazil in Portuguese. It just has a very low audio on it, but it's there. So that's kind of cool. Brazilian station. I miss so much Radio Nacional Amazonas. They had such great Brazilian music in the evening. Apparently their transmitter died and they kind of don't have the parts to fix it. Nils Pedersen said the new Skyway radio with SSB looks nice. Yeah, I did see the shortwave listening post also. It does absolutely look very nice. So, yes, I do know they speak Portuguese in Brazil. 26 BT 7000, welcome aboard. And so, it's still too early here for the buzzer, Casey Red Dragon. Neil Peterson says, man, me drunk, trying to lower the phone volume with the remote of my TV. That's a good one. The worst, Niels, is if it would work. Eaton Best, hello there. Nice to have you here. Mad Cow TV Gaming. Nice to have you here. Skywave, let me just give you the link if I can get it. Skywave SSB. Sneak peek is here. So this is the sneak peek at the Skywave SSB. Copy and paste to the chat. So this is the sneak peek at the Skywave SSB. Pretty looks nice. It's gonna be nice to see more. Jerry says Jerry DX says 11,764.6 is S7. So yeah, that's why I went into upper sideband, because Cuba was strong and interfering. So what I did was I went to 11,764.6 and tuned the upper sideband to eliminate. So 11,790, what's that? Sounds Arabic. And it's Radio Romania? No, it's not. It's 2200s. 11,790. It's, what is it? Oh, it's Arabic. It's Madagascar World Voice Radio FIDA And this is from Madagascar, transmitter site. So this is from Madagascar. It's Radio Fida from the Madagascar World Voice in Arabic, 11790. So you don't understand, I don't understand what you're saying, but you know, it's kind of nice to see that a signal from Madagascar making it all the way up here to Montreal. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. And what else do we have? Hey, MDK2. Interesting. Listening to Madagascar World Voice Radio Fida 2. Big signal. Yeah, pretty good signal from Madagascar. Amazing. Niels Pedersen reminds me of a joke that I did. I was at some friend's house at some point, and I don't know if you guys remember that before the smartphone, I had a Palm TX, which was my, you know, everything that I need to do when I go to my clients, everything was in there, and it had infrared. And you could actually download a universal remote in your Palm TX, and then you would choose just what TV, and you could turn off the TV, you could change the channels. So I had a lot of fun because, you know, I had my Palm TX sometimes and would do things, and I'd just joke around and shut down the TV while people were watching, and they were like, what the hell's happening with the TV? And then I would have a big laugh saying, hey, I'm the one, I'm controlling it with my Palm TX. Oh man, these were the days. Madagascar is a great transmitter site. And what I like, because if, especially for North America, you know, what's cool is Madagascar is you know, most of the time they're broadcasting to Africa. So it's in the general direction of North America. So almost every station, as long as they use a frequency that is good for the propagation between Madagascar and in North America, they pack a really amazing signal. I mean, that transmitter site is great. So pretty cool. So Denny Shortwave says 11790 S8 in Yonkers, New York. What else do we have here? What else do we have here? Yeah, you can notch it out. You can do a lot of things. Yeah, Palm devices, just amazing when you think about it, with the stylus and everything. I had many Palm devices. Yeah, Jurassic Park is a movie with dinosaurs. The famous movie with the dinosaurs. 11820. Amazing signal from Saudi Arabia. And this I will not put in the audio because this, which is, I believe, the Holy Quran reading, actually flags a video almost instantly. And not just that, because I have the Holy Quran in one of my videos, YouTube sent me a message saying, look, you have that in one of your videos. It's possible that advertisers will not want to have ads on your channel. I was like, whoa, okay, that's crazy. So every time I hear this, no videos. But 11820 is pretty strong, and that's Saudi Arabia. Really strong. So what else do we have here? Something on 11840. And Spanish. Oh, there's Radio Havana, Cuba, 11840. Not as strong as 11760. Radio Havana, Cuba, 11840. So 11840. Radio Havana, Cuba. something weak on 11860. That is, what is that? 11860. Hey, you guys. I think, wow, really? It's the only thing at this time. 11860, it's not very strong, but it says that it would be the Republic of Yemen Radio Sana. Really? It ain't strong, but it's there. And it has the style of music I would kind of think it would be from Yemen. What's ARS? What's ARS transmitter site? I have to take a look at this. EIBI space. What is ARS? README text, condition language, transmitters. Okay. ARS. J. What's that? Okay, ARS. Where's that? Saudi Arabia. Ah, that's why it's okay. ARS is, it means it's Saudi Arabia. Okay. So it's Radio Sana Yemen from Saudi Arabia transmitter site. Oh, I didn't even know they transmitted from there. Wow. $11,800. Let's check it out. $11,800. No, I've got tones. I've got nothing on 11,800 at all, not even a peep of a signal. Ah, thanks, Ethan Best. So it's kind of a Saudi Arabia propagation against Yemen, something like that. I didn't know. So it's time for my last beer. So I've got nothing also on 11,800. Vianney Arsenault has nothing. I never go on, you know what, KC Red Dragon, I almost never go on 14313. It's that nut job frequency on the 20 meter band for these idiots that don't know how to operate. Okay, thanks, Eden Best. I didn't know about that type of transmission. So it's like a Radio Marti style station, but for us. Saudi Arabia versus Yemen. Okay, thanks for the info, Ethan Best. Kind of interesting. It would have been nicer if it would have come from Yemen directly. So here's my last beer. This I've never tasted. It's the 5514 beer, and that's from Sleeman. So we'll see what that tastes like. It's the strongest beer in the beer crate, which is a 6. This is a 6.9%. Ale. So cheers, everyone. Very tasty, very interesting taste, kind of fruity. Jerry says, congratulate Ontario for finally allowing beer and wine in their grocery stores. Oh man, they're far behind. Here, what they are trying to do, because here in Quebec, beer and wine is actually beer in grocery stores. Wine up to a certain point, they want to have more types. But you know what? What happens here is if you buy beer at the not the grocery store or the or dépanneur, at 11 p.m. you can't buy alcohol anymore in Canada, in Quebec. it's a provincial law. After 11 p.m., you cannot buy a case of beer. But what's stupid is that you can go to a bar and drink. So a lot of people are saying, what's that stupid law? You know, why not just let it 24 hours if you want to buy beer, you know? So they're thinking of like leaving it 24 hours now. Because if you're out of beer after 11 p.m., unless you go to a bar, you just can't get some alcohol anymore. You'll have to wait until 8 a.m. in the morning. And, well, I don't really drink at 8 a.m. in the morning, basically. So, oh really? You see Red Dragon? No alcohol on Sunday. Wow. That's kind of... Is that a number station on 4725? No, that's the emergency action messages. It's probably 4724 upper sideband. That's the frequency of the Air Force, the U.S. Air Force. And you probably heard a emergency action message being broadcast. It's one of the known frequencies, like 8992, 11175, and 15016. So let's go back to 11860. Continue tuning up a little bit. So what's on? This is nope. Okay, 11915 is also Saudi Arabia, from what I think. So 11915 is Saudi Arabia. Of course, as they are broadcasting on multiple frequencies. And it does say here, Saudi Arabia, the Holy Quran, they still have 25 minutes left. By the way, if you guys want to hear something in, yeah, 13200 also, as Vienna Asano says. I forgot, I always jump over that one. For some reason, I remember all the frequencies except 13200. I don't know why. Oh, it's 2230. I'm a little messed up in my time here. So 11915. Let's check out anything else. Radio Marti on 11930, but I hear the Cuban jamming much stronger than Radio Marti itself from the United States. So Niels Pedersen says, in Sweden you cannot buy strong beer or vodka. You have to go to a beer vodka shop called Systembolaget, something like that. Yeah, well, here in Quebec, the alcohol, if you want to buy vodka, for example, you have to go to the SAQ, which is a government-owned store that sells alcohol. So most wines, a lot of imported beer, and all the strong alcohol, you have to go to the Société des Alcools, which is a bunch of stores owned by the Quebec government. And that's the only place you can buy hard liquor, for example. I have heard about the Voice of the Report of the Week. I do believe they are on WRMI, so yes, you can get that Ryan cash register. It's just to know what are the times they use, but yes, absolutely. Yoniasano says, unbelievable signal here on 11930, 40 dB and more. Wow. Got a good antenna setup. Pretty good antenna setup. Jane Dyer says, we had government liquor stores in St. Louis, Missouri. They were a hoot. I remember standing outside at 14 trying to get adults to buy us bottles of Ripple or Boone's Farm. So, yes, holiday weekend should be absolutely MDK2. It's both in the US and here in Canada, it's a Labor Day weekend. So remember that this weekend is going to be an interesting time if you can tune around the pirate bands. 6850 to 7,000 kilohertz in North America, 6,200 to 6,400 kilohertz in Europe, and of course they're all across the band. So I can tell you, very very interesting. And Blair says 11930 S9 in Memphis. So pretty cool. What else do we have here? There's something real strong here. Wow, what is that? I don't usually have this. It's as if something that did I forget to unplug something? I don't usually have these ones. This is kind of a weird tone. So 12050 is WEWN in Spanish from the United States.
Y aquí te dice, tú ves, Pedro, eso que está diciendo no te lo ha dicho mi padre, te lo ha dicho tu sangre y tu carne. Eso no es de Dios, eso es de los hombres. Así que fíjate que esta frase.
So NDK2 says voice of the report of the week is best heard Fridays 0100 UT. So that's Thursday evening North America, 7490, 7730, 9395. It's on all three at once. So that's interesting. Okay, thanks for the info, MDK2. Really nice. Nils Pedersen says, and in Sweden you can go to a pub and drink strong beer and vodka if you are 18, but if you want to buy beer to take home and vodka, you have to be 20 years old. That's kind of a weird thing. You can go drink in a bar at 18, but not buy alcohol to bring home before you're 20. You know, it's part of those bizarre laws sometimes that you're like, what the hell? Who decided to do it like that? So, don't you mean David Snyder 11915? Because 11930 is oh, you're right. Wait a minute. Maybe I was wrong. I'm hearing. Oh, yeah. You are right. Radio Marti. You are right. I'm sorry. I really had it wrong. You know, that's exactly what I always. You know, the worst is what I say very often. Don't rely on just it's always the same thing that you hear, because yes, Radio Marti's there, but Radio Marti actually should be here right now, but when I listen it sounds like the Holy Quran in 11938, not the Spanish transmission. So you are right. You are right, David Snyder. 11930 is what I hear in the background in that noise, and that it's coming from Saudi Arabia. Huh. That's interesting. Hey, welcome back, Carol. 10715. Let's check it out. It's there. It's 10715, which is the Cuban number lady. The Cuban number lady. And as we are at 2 hours and 42 minutes into the show, and it's nice to have everybody here on this Friday evening. We want to thank everybody for their support. I've got Patreon today that had a payout. So thanks for everybody on Patreon. Be careful if you go on Patreon to make sure that you actually set it right so that there's no bad surprises. PayPal, great way to send me a little something. If you enjoy the shows that I do, they help me tremendously in continuing and doing what I do. So paypal.me/shortwave, and basically it's a great way to help me out and help me continue with everything that I do. And if you enjoy what I do, and especially for those that you know, watch this show regularly or watch any show that I do and never donated, why not think about it? This week was nice on the Windows channel. A few people that never donated give a little something this week, it's like, yeah, why not? You know, if you enjoy what I do, I mean, it's, you know, it's something that I take a lot of time doing, and of course, you know, I love doing it, but unfortunately, I'm not a millionaire, so you know, so it's very, very welcome, and thank you for everybody that have donated. And as we continue into, this is the number stations from Cuba, 10715. What else do we have here? 6315 is Boston. Usually it's Boston WeatherFax. I believe it's here. No, it's 6340. 6315, I'm not hearing anything. Not hearing anything on 6315 on my location. So, well, some really strong signals of Stanag. Look at it, this big wide signal here. Look at that, guys. On 6450, this huge signal of white noise. It's hitting S9 plus 20 here. Look at that. Huge white noise. It's very wide. Let's zoom in here. Look at that, guys. By zooming in, it's from 6441 all the way up to 6459. So it's a 18 kilohertz wide signal here. Look at that. And it's extremely strong. Very, very strong. From 6441 to 6459, just a little bit more. Very, very wide white noise signal on the bands. That's crazy. Totally crazy. And it's usually strong. Usually strong. I don't know from where that comes from and what it is, but wow. Really strong white noise here. Hello there, F. Blassie. Nice to have you here from Oakland, California. Always cool to have everybody here. That's why David Snyder, you know, we always have to, and that's why I love a chat room like this. You know, it's like if there's something that I thought that I, you know, would, you know, sometimes you got to be careful when you're really sure about something, because it can play tricks at some, you know, sometimes, and it did today. It played me a trick here, for sure. So. What else do we have here? Oh, really? 6315, some tones. Let's just go back to 6315 just for a moment here. I don't have nothing. I don't hear anything. We got nothing there, unfortunately. Let's go down. Let's set a setting in about less than an hour. Let's start at 5,000 and go up a little bit to see if there's anything interesting in here. There's radio teletype on 4983. Radio Rebelde is starting to very weak, but it's starting to come in. 5025. Cuba 5040. This is something here, some standing or noise. What's here? Let's go to 52. It's interesting how I move it and it changes the level interference somehow. Oh, this is the 5275, the fishermen and the people that go up north in Quebec to communicate through these radios.
ça, ils avaient poigné en arrivant à Pont-Midi aussi, là. C'est la deuxième fois qu'on les poigne d'autres aussi, là.
So these are talking in French, and they have the French Québécois accent. And 5275. And I regularly hear at this time people from the northern Quebec talking to their families in Montreal or here down south, because there's no communications, no phones that work there. 5275 is one that I hear all the time. They're also sometimes on 5270, but it's French Québécois. Really. Yeah, C. Johnson, I believe I have read something about that very wideband white noise, which is some kind of new digital mode being tested out by, I think it is the military or something like that. So Ethan Best says the noise on 12 megahertz too. Interesting. It really is spread spectrum, I can tell you that. Niels Pedersen says ABC show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Nice song. Me old man Swedish Gamal go. VNA Arsenal 6319, hearing nothing too, so there's nothing here. Music on 5275 upper sideband, that's interesting. Well, at 12,000 I have these tones. And this is local because if I look at the S meter, it doesn't move. And if it doesn't move at all, that means that has to be a local signal here in my shack or in the house somewhere, for sure. Richard says talking on 6070. Yep, 8764 should be, I believe, Chesapeake, Virginia weather. Actually, we heard it earlier at this time, 8764, because there's another one in Hawaii. X764, let's check it out. Okay, at this time it's California, Carol. You're hearing the U.S. Coast Guard station in California. At Point NMC in Point Reyes, California. So you're hearing the West Coast one. I heard the Chesapeake, Virginia just a little earlier. So you're hearing the California one. Kind of interesting. What is that the CW on 12623? 12623. Very weak here. I believe it's exactly 624. It's TAH. I just heard the Morse code. TAH. It's the maritime channel marker of the Turkish Marine. So this is TAH is from Turkey. It's the Istanbul Maritime Mobile Station, and that's the channel marker. It's exactly on 12624 when you put it in CW mode. But I just heard distinctly TAH are the letters, and it is the Istanbul, Turkey channel marker. Richard in Atlanta. David Arden says, I think they are saying tune in to Gilles on YouTube. So yeah, Vianney Arsenault, they were what was the Radio Allemand back in the days. Absolutely. And now you know what, it looks like if these radios just got lost in the wild and people are using them to communicate for some reason. I've always been, you know, when it was the Radio Alma thing, because it was owned by Bell and they were doing radio communications and phone patches, in the 80s. And I was always wondered why these frequencies, which were pretty far, you know, 5275 was one. I think 5390 also was one upper sideband. Yes, I've always been wondering if it wasn't these radios that were just reassigned and being used. So, no, 8764 right now, Carol, I think is from California. The Norfolk, Virginia one was half an hour ago, if I believe. Let me just check it out again. Make sure, but 8764 2230. Yeah, 2230 to 2305 UT is from Point Reyes, California. So you're on the Point Reyes, California weather station right now. Radio Romania, David Snyder. Yes, 7430 is Radio Romania. Here it is, Radio Romania in English with some music right now. With a pretty good signal, actually. Radio Romania, 7430 kilohertz. And they're just ending.
In English, for listening to Western Europe and Japan has come to an end. You can listen to our next program for Western Europe tomorrow at...
Take care, David. Always nice to have you on board, and have a nice weekend. Stay safe, my friend. Mr. David Snyder. What else do we have here? No, it repeats TAH, Tango Alpha Hotel. It's really Tango Alpha Hotel. It does ba 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 ba. Tango Alpha Hotel, and it's from Istanbul, Turkey, Rich in Atlanta. Niels Pedersen says, I also tested the TVDO V115 outside and compared to the Texan R9012. And I was talking with Amrad about bleed in from strong FM stations on TVDO, but TVDO V115 has big problems. The breakthrough of FM stations on the TVDO is just horrible. Absolutely, the breakthrough of FM station makes it almost unusable unless you live in some, you know, far away place in the middle of the forest where no signals are present. Yeah, weather on 3485 upper sideband is usually Gander or New York, the alternate with the weather broadcast. Bobby Burgess, on Android 6 and up, you have to get the USB driver in order to have the RTL SDR work on Android. Absolutely. So you have to get the driver once it's installed, but you don't need to root. On Android 6 or later, no rooting required. You just get the USB driver, and then you get SDR Touch, and you plug in the dongle with the, here I got the, that's exactly what you need. The OTG little adapter here, and I just shove it in my Galaxy S7 phone. But you will need the USB driver and the SDR Touch software, but it's going to work fine. And don't scare us like that, Carol T, Radio Australian 15240. And I like my Radio DXer's comments saying, yeah, and Radio Canada International for some reason. Yeah, why not? Oh, look at that, Radio Sweden. You know. Now you're making me sad with all these stations that are gone. Oh, God. Yeah, well, you know, you got to put it in perspective for sure, Niels Peterson. The R9012 and the TVDO V115 have one thing in common, is that they cost about the same price. But the R9012 is a simple analog design. So you got kind of a better receiver for the price because they kept it simple and they put just enough parts. The TVDO has so much and so many features that for 20 bucks, I don't know, but they can't really be making they can't really be making these and making a lot of money on them. I mean, come on, the TVDO V115 with keypad entry, recording on an SD card. You know what? I took my TVDO V115 the other day with me because I was taking a walk and I thought, hey, I have the Police songs on a SD card. I'm just going to pop it in my TVDO and put my good earphones on it and listen to the Police and Sting. And I actually took a 1 hour walk with the TVDO, not listening to Shortwave, listening to my MP3s. The main host driver is missing. Is that when you get the driver installed, Bobby Burgess? Yeah, 13845 is WWCR. Usually is very strong here too. Let's just check it out. Actually missing right now. Very weak. Usually this is so strong, but look at that. Teeny weeny signal right now. So 11580, anything interesting?
Inside the hotel room here at the Sheraton.
11580 is the AWR Wavescan program, I believe. On 11580. And I do think it's the AWR Wavescan program. Well, now it's not. There was some talk. Yeah.
Which comes to you from Northern Ireland and is the radio ministry of the Presbyterian Church of Ulster. We count it a privilege to bring the gospel to you week by week in all its scriptural books. And I trust you enjoy today's program. If you've been challenged, encouraged, or helped in any way, do let us help us. Our mailing address is Let the Bible Speak.
Stay safe, Dan805. Don't go crazy because, you know, tornado warnings are quite serious things. And be aware of your surroundings. KC Red Dragon says Radio Havana Cuba 15365. MDK2 is listening to the Fred Flintone's Rock Show 7490. So pretty cool. Phil Spederson says, yeah, cheap radios, you're right. There's no Texan PL 660. Yeah, it's not the same thing. Carol T says, barely hear the carry on 13845. So pretty amazing.
This is Leslie Curran saying, thank you for listening, and may the Lord richly bless you. Do remember to join us
What
again,
is that?
God willing, on this same day, at the same time next week, when once again, let the Bible speak.
Some kind of Bible thing. From Ireland or something. My cousins are chatting it up on 5275. 65 Fahrenheit, where Eaton Best is. Here it's, I don't know.
Programming of the Radio Africa Network. We are excited to share that you can now...
Huh. Radio Africa Network. There we go. You guys want to see what's the weather here? It's 17 Celsius in Montreal right now. And lots of rain coming up.
Thank you for listening to the Radio Africa Network.
So, take care, Ernie Turner. Always nice to have you on board. 73 VK3 DET. Always nice. Yeah, Radio Africa. From WRMI. Pretty cool. So, via WRMI. Anybody tuned in to Radio Tirana English broadcast via WRMI recently? I haven't heard like any reports. So I haven't heard any reports lately from that. Radio Havana Cuba with some excellent Cuban music. 11760 kilohertz. Let's go try and see my cousins on 5275. Yep. So, hey Gary Sirott from the UK, nice to have you here. Yeah, pretty cool. Well, Jillian, nice to have you here. Your radio picks up more than here in DM42. Where is, I'm always messed up with these grid squares and grid locations. One Amigo says, it's a lot of time I don't hear Radio Albania in English. Yeah, because they are, One Amigo, they are via WRMI. But I haven't. What's the frequency, Tim Best, if it's on? Is it 5850? Oh, they're on. Funny I'm talking about them. 5850. It's not very strong, but that's Radio Toronto from WRMI.
Information of the new government will be accompanied by thousands of broadcasting public administration, so the preliminary document of new government will be moving of everything including this people, so by 4,900 jobs, the Department of Public Administration and executives will be led to the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure, and the special department.
Well, that's kind of cool. Radio Toronto via WRMI on 5850. That is nice. That is nice. Not super strong, but nice. Richard in Atlanta, Georgia is receiving the Military Auxiliary Radio System Mars on 4027. They're often really close to the AM bands like that. 4027. I don't think I'll hear it, but I'll try it just to see. 4027. Nothing on 4027. So nice to see Radio Toronto. It's kind of cool. Radio Farda on 5860 for Richard Cook. It's actually it's here with music. Richard here too. 5860. Not super strong, but it's there. Radio Farda 5860. Where is that from? 5860. Radio Farda is broadcasting from Kuwait. It's from the Kuwait transmitter site. Oh, that's nice. Interesting. Interesting broadcasts being received here. Really cool. Danny Shortwave 5850 S9. Carol's receiving Cuba in English on 11880. Let's check it out. 11880. So Radio Havana, Cuba, English, 11880 kilohertz, also being received here. Let's go back down the bands and see what we can hear. Anything else? What else do we have here? 5900 kilohertz. What is that? 5900. Oh God. Brother Stair Moaning from Bulgaria. Well, that's a change. You can hear the Brother Stair moaning from Bulgaria on 5900. So instead of coming from WRMI or some US transmitter site as usual, there's Brother Stair moaning on 5900. Dave Todd says there's always a strong RTTY 4004. I think it's encrypted, but always strong here. Yeah, I've noticed that one. If I tune it, it's there. Look at that. It's right here. Look at that. It's also almost all day long here, so I would guess it's somewhere close in the United States. So 4004. You know what I would do, Ethan Best, is Ethan Best. And David Arden. We should call it, you know, Moaning Radio International. And Niels Pedersen, yeah, you know, it's one of those things. Or, you know, Donna Soccer has this way of, like, you know, doing a build of Windows 10 when I just think there will not be any build, and then, like, I just look at my phone and I get like 50 notifications, new build of Windows. So, oh man. Five 5990, which I believe is China Radio. Yeah, we should call it, you know, all moaning radio all the time. The soothing sounds of moaning on shortwave. 24 hours a day. Moaning radio all the time. I'd be good at announcing it too. Moaning radio. It almost sounds like them too. Moaning radio. Oh God. Gotta stop drinking. I'm drinking Sleeman 5514, and I'm actually drinking a little faster now, so which means I'm in party mode. 5990 is China Radio International from Cuba in Spanish. 5990. Hurricane Irma. For me, Irma is like this, I don't know, this gypsy giving, you know, this gypsy fortune teller or something like that. Oh my God, Hurricane Jill is going to destroy everything. Yes, 6090 Danny Shortwave is the Caribbean beacon from the island of Anguilla. Cuba on 6,000 kilohertz in Spanish. Yeah. Yeah, these transmitters are really getting bad. They have these tones, these high-pitched whining noises, and you know, they're just not taking care of the transmitters. I can tell you that, Ethan. A little weather facts. Rich in Atlanta says the moaner and the Cuban lady should actually join. The moaner and the Cuban lady should get together and create a new sound. The moaning Cuban lady, she's gonna moan the numbers. 7, 8. That would sound bad. Oh God. Let's see. Weather facts 6340. I think was pretty strong. Well, not there anymore. This is nope. We need to get some weather facts signal. 6604 is weather. New York weather. Look at that beautiful Iona sound going through. With all the missing stations. Oh really, Ethan? Brother Stair claims that he's the reason behind the USSR dissolving. Oh God, please. Really? Really? Niels Pedersen. Oh God. I did notice quite a lot of e-skip or sporadic e-skip in the past week also on Radio DXer. I've not had time to tune a lot, but man. But I think they've ended Casey Red Dragon. I think they're going to be back a little later with the Boston facts, weather facts stuff. Yeah, the New York vomit is always giving. Well, it's you know what, MDK2. It's not always. Like for example now. Okay, now they're giving it. It seems to be a mixed bag. Sometimes it works and they have the real weather, and sometimes they give weather from the different stations, and sometimes they just say there's nothing to give, no report all the time. It really depends. Oh, look at this. Trenton Military from Ontario, Canada. 6754 upper sideband.
310 at 8, visibility 15, few clouds at 5,000, few clouds at 25,000, temperature 15, dew point 4, altimeter 3015. Break. Toronto, time 230.
So this is military weather 6754 upper sideband. It's the Trenton Military Vomit from Ontario, Canada. Trenton in Ontario, Canada. Danny Shortwave's receiving CFRX Toronto on 6070 S8.
Repeating aviation weather.
Let's check it out. CFRX. Oh, actually pretty good. CFRX Toronto 6070. CFRX 6070. Hello there, Anderson 37732. Mike and Tiff, nice to have you here. You know, outside antenna or move around is the best for NOAA weather stations, all I can say. They're not always super strong. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, of course, because CFRB is probably on iHeart Radio, for sure. What kind of speakers am I using? PC speakers. They are the speakers I use for the sound here is Logitech Z32 or something like that. It's 2 speakers with a subwoofer, and actually has amazing sound for listening to the SDR. Really amazing. David Arden says CFRX is his window to Canada. So So Richard Cook had channel 292 earlier today, 6070. Cool, cool. Yeah, it is quite good. And I get the bonus, C. Johnson, that when I want to listen to music, like on YouTube, or listen to some music via my PC, I get a great sound and can listen to music in my living room. And it sounds great with the SDR. Really, really cool. Niels Pedersen, any new shortwave radio that you're going to buy this year? For the moment, nothing really in the buying department, but you never know. If I find a few more radios that are interesting and not too expensive, because money's pretty short right now for me, I will surely check out and see what else I can actually add to the collection of radios. So it's going to be interesting to see. So what else do we have here? What else do we have here? Oh really, Jerry's you're gonna get the R30? Whoa, you lucky bum. You lucky bum. I don't have the money to buy these radios anymore. I bought them when I had cash. I don't have cash anymore. Radio Aussie in 5045 I have not heard yet at all. MDK2. I've heard lots of reports of people hearing it. I've not heard it on 5045. I'm going to have to check it out. Well, this one is an ephedry, so this is shortwave only. So there's no use for P25 systems on this. But I am going to try it out on this dongle, which is VHF UHF dongle, and try to get P25 systems. I'm curious to try it out on this dongle. But this is shortwave only, so there's no P25 digital stuff in here for sure. Tim Best says needs to finish restoring his Alicrafters TW1000. These are nice. The Alicrafters are beautiful, beautiful. What is the possibility of doing live shows from the QTH of the people you met and CIDX meeting using their receivers? You know what? That's an interesting idea that I did absolutely not think about. But you know what? That I would guess could be a possibility. There's a lot of there's also a lot of people in Montreal and around Montreal that maybe I could try to do something with. All I need would be to see if we can set up some kind of show at some point and check it out. But that is actually an interesting idea, Rich. I will keep that in my list of ideas for sure. For sure. So yeah, I would guess 5045 Aussie radio would probably come in here on the East Coast in early morning, probably. So yeah, Radio Havana, Cuba on 5040 Richard Cook. So hey guys, we've been on for 3 hours and 20 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I will take a break. I'm hungry. I want to check out the latest build of Windows 10 and try to do a couple of videos of that on my Windows channel if I can before the night is over. This weekend I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff, so I won't have a lot of time to do anything. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Don't forget, you can help me out. PayPal, paypal.me/shortwave if you enjoyed the show. It's always welcome. Helps me tremendously in continuing what I do. And patreon.com/radioandcomputers. Thank you very much for everybody that have donated. It's much appreciated. And why not think about it if you can spare a little change. Really, really much appreciated. And before we go, I will try it out, but I don't know if we'll get it. The buzzer, 4625 upper sideman. Anything here? No buzzer yet, but I can tell you guys one thing. I will off and on be tuning the shortwave bands tonight. And if I do hear it, I will post a video for sure. So, go and check it out, KC Red Dragon. Hamfests are great places for really cheap and very affordable receivers of all kinds. Go take a look. You could find some really cool treasure there for a very, very low price. And thanks everybody for the great comments. Thank you all for being here all the time. So cool to be doing these shows. Remember, the next show will be next Friday, 2000 hours UTC. We are going exceptionally on the VHF UHF channel. Next Friday, we're tuning in satellites, weather satellites, amateur radar satellites that are in orbit. We're going to do that next week. And Saturday, September 9th, 2000 hours UTC, we'll be having a shortwave show. Take care, everybody. Good night, good day, wherever you are. Stay safe. Love you all. Always cool to have you on board. Bye, my friends. And take care. And see you soon. Bye.